My neighbors, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? Rose, I'm surprised that you're not saying, okay, you're smiling. I know, because like I'm always stressing you
I'm
out.
just wondering where the hype is all coming from, but hey, it's all good.
I don't know. And I woke up so tired this morning, so I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. You're welcome to Women Radio 91.7 FM, the voice of women, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. This is the daily news review program where we go through headlines and then we now sit down on the ones that we want to really, really deliberate on with our analyst who's here. It's been a while that I saw Adito. I don't know if she was here last week, but it's been a while. So welcome from your sojourn. Hi Adito, good morning.
Good morning. Thank God it's Friday. Rose, good morning. Fumi, it's good to see you. You're looking different.
You okay?
I'm back from my sojourn.
Good to see you this
Good morning,
morning. Hope you're well.
Adesina.
Happy Easter. We're still in the season of Easter.
Yes, yes. Happy Easter celebration to you. I hope you had a lot of fun.
Hmm. Trust me, Adeto, you don't want to know. Let's not even start it. Let's just move on. If not, we'll spend another 15 minutes talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Well, you're speaking like a hater. I don't like it. You don't sound. You're not a hater
we
normally.
have
So
limited time on this program. Can we
okay, we
just
have
move
limited
on?
time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna go straight into the headlines this morning. We're gonna run through them. Too many things happened today. I'm hoping that myself and Rose don't spend too much time on each of them because each as I was going through it, my blood was boiling. I'm never going to lie. And then my blood was boiling on one hand, and I was feeling sad on the other hand. I had to be talking myself out of it this morning. But yeah, we are live on YouTube at wfm917.com. You can listen to us on the go via our website www.wfm917.com. We are just going to dive right into it, starting off with the Punch newspaper, and that's where it just hits us smack in the head. Borno attack, Army general, terrorist killed, Tinubu mourns. ADC called Tinubu chief mourner, not chief commander, and okay. I'm gonna because I don't understand why are you mourning? Like you're the general, you're the commander in chief. Get like things need to be done. So the I don't know if you said that the major general was the brigadier general died. So a top commander in the army died, and we're crying. Like okay. The next headline is TUC demands subsidy to cushion rising fuel prices. Again, TUC said all the money that all those money that you say you're keeping somewhere, like might as well just funnel it back into the economy and subsidize for prices because they're not like far, not 3 weeks, so maybe in the next 1 week, fuel might become 2,000 naira per liter. And yesterday we read that America and Iran they have done ceasefire, but we're next headline.
Let's just calm down for me. When I saw it yesterday, I'm like, for how long are we going to continue hearing these condolences, your messages, and it's hitting home. Okay, these are an army general we're talking about. Okay. The Guardian newspaper, George alleges plots by APC and INEC to undermine democracy and warns against one-party states. Another headline of The Guardian says fresh terror attacks fuel concerns. US responds despite official reassurances. Or rather, US responds after official reassurances.
Yeah, and we'll get into that today because I said it yesterday. I said I was like, I'm concerned. America has every right to remove their citizens from a country that is volatile 100%. But what does that bode for us? Because if the greatest, is it the most powerful country in the world, arguably the most powerful country in the world, is removing their citizens right from our country, do they know something that we do not know? And I gave the example of, okay, I'll get into that if we touch that. And then moving into this day newspaper, 2026 poll, EKSG debunks 25 million naira claim by PDP to manipulate INEC candidates list. It's happening already. Moving on with Tinubu says, we'll defeat terrorism. He insists, sir, you're not defeating anything. All protocol duly observed with all due respect.
Yeah, he said
After,
will. So it's not like he said we are. He said we will. So it's like,
yeah,
you
he's
know.
been saying this since last year when we got into the thick of things. So, especially
I
after
think
the Boko Haram's killing of
it's
General Prime.
tell you did it.
Next up, Daily Trust.
All right, on Daily Trust, bandits insist on 150 million naira ransom for abducted worshippers from Kwara community. 150 million naira. If the villagers themselves could do 150 million, will you go and meet them in the village?
Actually, two of the abductees have died, even in the midst of this whole thing as well. So see how I'm reading it like it's just not like reading normal this, none that people.
You know that's the thing for me. That's the thing. That's the thing. Okay, you just read it and you just and we move to the next headline. All right. And I just did it now, but let's just
Still the one on Daily Trust. Yeah, we have one more there.
yeah. US cancels all visa appointments after ordering staff to leave Abuja. So if you're hoping to get a US visa,
My brother, my
be
sister.
something.
They all think twice. In the Vanguard newspaper, we have David Mark led ADC praise courts to reverse INEC's decision. So his name, himself, and Areg Beshala's names were removed from the INEC list for ADC. I mean, we're seeing all these things move, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday with Sumba, so we're just going to move on. Alarm, cutthroat rent hikes worsening Nigeria's housing crisis. We are talking about that one today. In fact, that's going to be the first headline we are going to talk about today, because I know that myself and Rose were house hunting at some point, but I know that Rose has not moved yet. I mean, to have not moved.
I give up.
We'll get into it this morning. Okay, moving to the Premium Times newspaper.
All right, on Premium Times, ASU Uni Jos, ASU, that's University of Jos, declares indefinite strike over unpaid mutilated salaries. You see this thing? This thing? Okay. Edo Shots Event Center, where Nigerian rapper criticized Tinubu. Really?
Yeah. So the rapper Idris Abdul Karim, right, I'd seen this earlier on in the week where he was doing his set. He stopped the music and started talking about how Nigerians are suffering and how Tinubu is the worst president of Nigeria and all of that, and continued his performance, and that was it. Edo State then decided to seal the event. So the event had gone. It was done 4 days after the government decides to seal the event, and people are like, hold on a minute, why? And they initially, when they called the commissioner for I remember his name, the commissioner Shah that was in charge of that thing, I can't remember. Oh my God, how did I forget that? He said, oh no, they did not hear anything about it. Then they kept on pressuring him. Now goes, actually, you catch me. We actually closed it down. We actually sealed it. But he claims it was for security measure. Something was happening, so they closed it for security measure. But he then comes again and says they've unsealed it. Then I asked him that when they unsealed it, say, yeah, you should go there and see if they've unsealed it or not. So, and that's the worry for me. We talk about this all the time. Once there's protest, the protesters are arrested, they are victimized, and then in this case now, so if the celebrities are coming out to speak, because it's not going to touch everybody. This one is no longer the rich versus the poor. Everybody don't they collect, right? And so it's like if you now speak, because a lot of us, let's not lie, let's not steal, are depending on love. Influential people, celebrities to speak because their words would seemingly hold more power than an ordinary citizen. People would like, oh yes, if Idris Abdulkarim can say it, or like when Colin Remy came out 2 weeks ago to talk about these things as well. Or Colin Remy is feeling it. People are like, oh yes, let's support. Fausto has come out to speak. Dr. Macaroni has come out to speak. So it's like if I speak now, what's going to happen to me? And that's really what has been people's fear. So that's what happened in Edo State.
So and you know it's a similar thing. Well, in Niger State, it's not like because at the end of the day, you know, the governor went to for a visit. And this man comes out and he's saying, "Oh, we don't have water in our community." Blah blah.
Yeah.
Remember that guy got
Yeah.
arrested.
Yeah.
So it's more like wherever you are right now, once you just speak against the present government, they will fish you out and they will pick you.
Yeah, but the
So
question is, did the guy lie? He didn't lie. The guy who
that's,
in Niger State who came out to say there's no light, there's no water.
yeah,
There's no light, there's no water.
there's no water, and he got arrested. So, but what I'm trying to say is, if you criticize the government from wherever you are, they will go down and fish you out. If you like, be in the deepest of holes, they'll go there and bring you out. With insecurity income, every day we're here, we're mourning. Every day we're here. Two of me and you will come out and show our face and be reading disturbing headlines, and we're sending condolences and mourning and all of that, all of that. Yesterday I saw a video of will I say bandits right now, or I don't know, armed men, sha. They were going round, is it an I think one of the army's truck, I've forgotten the name right now. Yesterday I was going, when I was looking for, stories for her lens, I saw that, and they were going round that particular truck that belonged to the army. I don't know if it was not an armored tank, but sure, one of those their, trucks,
Vehicles.
yeah, that they use. And they were going around it, they were screaming, just shouting and all of that. At the end of the day, they set fire on the thing. So, and that thing was on social media, and just one of them that was videoing that process. So is it that all the IT experts that we have, all of them cannot go around and trace where that video is coming from and take this word to them? Or what exactly is going on? They're
You
all
know,
over on TikTok. They're all
yesterday
over.
you said it. You said this, you didn't say yesterday. You said it to Adeyemi on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You were like, if they're like, why are we not naming and shaming these people? You said it.
So what exactly are we doing? Is enough of the condolences, enough of the, "Oh, we're mourning with you." A lot of the we will. Since which 1990, since 1920 something, we have been saying till when? Till when? Till when now? A lot of communities have been deserted in Kwara, in Kaduna, in Benue. A lot of communities have been deserted. People no longer have their lives. So why should we, come out? Because we have the resources to do all of this. We have all it takes to fish out these people. Whether the ones that are sponsoring, we know them. At least, there have been so many talks of, "Oh, we don't want to name names." Name them now. Let us cuckoo know them. Later is one person will come out and say, "I know them, I can name names." Before you know, you look for that person, you just hear the person go silent, go quiet. You will not hear anything about that person again. Or next tomorrow, the same person will come back and start saying, "Well, it's not about those people, it's about we Nigerians. Let's come out to be better. Let's come."
So it's okay.
Let us move on.
Okay, moving on to the next one. We have become your manifesto campaign slogan. Yowada mocks ADC, PDP, others. This thing is just so funny because when you people were coming to power, it was the same thing. So, court suspends ADC congresses in Adamawa. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on.
Why? What? Okay. But at least every political party should have freedom to to do what they need
have
to
the
do.
right,
As long as
exactly.
it's according to the laws on regulations, or INEC, the governing body of all of this, activities that we're having. And moreover, it's the election period as far as I'm concerned. Because between now and next year January, when the elections will come up, that's what we'll continue seeing. So
Yeah.
why are you doing all of this? There is the David Mark issue on ground, INEC. There is now you're suspending Congress, ADC Congress in Adamawa. Kilode, what did they do? And if you check now, probably some minor things that could actually, be settled. So as much as APC can go ahead and hold their Congress, PDP, despite all of their different factions holding Congress here and there, changing dates of Congresses every 2 market days, it not concern us, but at least they are able to hold their things. So what ADC, I mean, if APC is able to do it, then ADC should. Okay, let's head on to the cable anyway. On the cable, Bala Mohammed hosts Bauchi APC reps in Abuja ahead of planned defection. Arewa youth to federal government. Military needs drones, advanced weapons to fight insecurity. And you think we don't have all of these things?
No, we don't. The ones they have are not as sophisticated as the ones that bandits have. I'm serious.
So
Yeah,
wait, are you saying that these bandits don't have drones that they use?
yeah.
How did this
we've said it time and time again that we know that they're being, like, the speculation that they're being sponsored. So
how did these things get to them?
this happens everywhere.
You know they pass.
Yes, not but somebody closed their eye. Somebody allowed that thing to pass. Somebody in government, somebody higher up allowed it to pass. So yeah, 100%.
So they have advanced weapons.
Yep, they do. If you check any case of terrorism in any country, they always most certainly have better equipment than the military who's fighting them. Check Iraq, Iran, everywhere, Sudan, everywhere. African countries, their equipment is always solid.
But that has not stopped, the people of the country, or let's say the US, to go ahead and do what they need to do, or maybe even the military in that particular.
Yeah, but on that gist is that most of these things are actually sponsored by the US. Like speculation. So everybody's just like, yeah. Anyway, moving on to the Daily Post, we have "They should be tamed." Joe Igwekwe reacts to Tinubu must go protest. In the last 2 weeks, I've been seeing a lot of young girls come online to say, if you people should be training your mothers because your mothers don't have self-respect. So let me explain. So maybe a mom, I'll tell you why I'm giving this example. A mom sits on an elderly woman sits on the bus with maybe a young girl who's dressed scantily or who's not dressed properly or something, and then the mother says, "Why are you dressing like this? Pull your skirts down, and then the girl now starts insulting the person's mother. So you hear a lot of young girls come out to say, since you've not trained your mothers outside to stop to mind their businesses, we'll train them for you outside. I say that to say, this is somebody's father, this is somebody's grandfather, who is speaking to people who have come out to protest against the state of the nation. And he said they should be tamed. When you make a statement like they should be tamed, that's a very, very dangerous statement, because tamed can mean different things. Are you saying they should arrest them? Are you saying they should punish them? For myself that come out to protest because of these things that are happening. So yeah, that's what is happening now. They should be tamed. Anyway, next up we have NYC, that all the northern states actually we're now moving even to the west now. States are not safe for children to west now. States are not safe for children to go. Some parents are not even allowing their children to go for NYC. They put their foot down to say they're not going to the north. Sorry. Imagine sending a child to Borno State to go and do NYC. As what, as how? Anyway, those are the headlines from the Daily Post.
All right, quickly to run through Tribune. Federal government to review $200 billion gas, power and rail projects. Okay. Zamfara government banned signing out carnivals in schools. Yeah, I think a lot of states too have been doing this. My goodness. For me, did you see the video of that young girl that was dancing for their inter-house sports?
No.
Go to her lens group. You see one of it. What? Because they see my eye used to see, and so many other people that see it.
And they were hailing her.
She went and she was dancing seductively to whether it's a parent. You know how they could bring up maybe one important personnel to be receiving all of the the gifts, or what do they call probably the medal.
Yes, the medals, yeah.
Houses are bringing to give. They could bring out one person, maybe head of the Parent Teachers Association or something. Somebody sharp. This man stood there. This young girl that was probably
shake bomb
maybe in SS3, SS1, SS2, came out, was dancing seductively on the man, and he stood there like, ah, go and watch it. So when they say the state government is banning sign-up carnivals, I think we need to look at some of these things.
Even
and
internal sports are being.
yeah, because it is getting somehow.
But there are
It
teachers
is.
there now. There are teachers there.
Exactly. So what?
She got parents.
And
Anyway,
this girl was not wearing a bra.
of
She
course
just
not.
she was only putting on the jersey and their shorts. And the things that no, we should do better. If not, it's not just only insecurity we'll be dealing with. We have a lot of other things that will be giving us plenty headache.
Hey, okay.
All
Finally,
right.
today we have pushing newspaper. Tinubu's campaign coordinator joins African Democratic Congress, and then lastly, Tomo Kewale Shania, the chair of Women Radio, seeks stronger partnership with traditional rulers to protect women. This happened. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, that was yesterday. I think she met with traditional rulers, and they've been doing different town hall meetings as well,
yes.
Covering domestic violence,
yes,
talking to the men only
yes.
town hall meetings. So for this particular one, all of the obas that they've gone to their different communities.
Yeah.
So Alake, I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out their names. There is the one from Egbaland, there is the one for Remo, there's one for Abeokuta. So all of the different palaces, they gather them together, thanking them for their partnership and to see that, what they have taken to these communities to cascade down to everybody through their religious leaders, through, their different community leaders, so that all of these things will actually work out. So yeah, it was a good conversation because a lot of them showed up, a lot of the traditional leaders showed up, and it was a good one. So say kudos to Women Radio, kudos to the Voice of Women. I'll say our hand inside.
Yeah.
Our hand inside. So yeah, it was a good one.
Okay. This is 7 minutes to 8. You're still tuned to Women Radio 91.7 FM. This is the Daily News Review, and we are glad. We are glad that we have our analyst this morning joining us. We are live on YouTube as always at WFM 917. The phone lines will be open shortly, but you can send your text messages to 0703 1756 537 and 08 155 917917. Okay, let's get into it this morning. But before then, let's welcome our analyst. Good morning, Adito again. Good morning. You're well.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Okay. Our first one for this morning, we're leaving politics aside. Aside for a little bit, alarm, cutthroat rent hikes worsening Nigeria's housing crisis. We've talked about this off and on, but look, they said there's a housing crisis, and this is not, they said this is something that we are all experiencing, in Nigeria, and it's not triggered by conflict, it's not triggered by disaster, but it is triggered by an outrageous rise in house rents, which is also worsened by some landlords who to do, estate agents who to do as well. So many people are, for a lot of Nigerians, it's not about, where do I want to live? The question is, where can I afford to even live somewhere? And we're seeing this housing crisis in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kaduna, Kano, most state capitals across the country. Experts have warned that the country must build about 550,000 housing units annually for the next 10 years to bridge a deficit now estimated at 14.9 million units. I think that we're even putting the cart before the horse, because this is not a case of, do we need extra houses? Yes. But the issue is that the rent is astronomically crazy. Like it's you hear some rent and you're like, it can't be that we're in the same Nigeria together. Unfortunately, there are people that will still go ahead to buy it, and that's the issue of Nigeria. Somebody will still pay for that thing, even though it is crazy expensive. But then it's one thing to pay for it now, and then by next year you are running from pillar to post to be able to pay, you know, for all of this. And this is coupled even with food inflation that is hitting the roof. Transportation costs are high because of a rise in petroleum. I mean, the list is endless. Okay. We have an example of an individual who says, by the time the notice had arrived, it was not even written on paper. It came as a casual WhatsApp message from the agent sent on a Tuesday morning, and it read, "Your rent is now 1.8 million. If you cannot pay it back before month end." As how? We have Adobe here, who's been in a 2-bedroom flat in Ecuador with her husband for 4 years and 2 children. Rent was 750 when they moved in. They moved it to 950. Now, without renovation, without negotiation, it has nearly doubled. I'm talking 1.8. She said, I had to read it 3 times, because how do you move? How do you jump from 950 to 1.8 just like that? And let's not lie, let's not steal, regardless of this situation of the country, we know that a lot of landlords are taking advantage of the situation. And that's why we always say that Nigerians were the ones doing ourselves. That is just the plain one. Because yes, I understand I get the landlord, and the same full price that I'm buying, the same one that you're buying. But 950 to 1.8, that is. And then you have landlords that will say people should move from their houses because they want to renovate. But what they are really doing is they are dividing a 3-bed apartment into 2-bed and 1-bed with no ventilation. Like, I can keep on going and going and going and going. My parents, the house my parents used to live in, they were the last original tenants there. And the man will try to do something to make sure that, you know, he pushes them out. A 6-bed apartment, okay, let me say 5, because the landlord lived in one of it, turned into maybe 18, because he was dividing it into 2-bed, 1-bed, 1-bed, 2-bed, 1-bed, 1-bed. Yeah. So each flat could come out with 3, and there was no ventilation. Some people have had to leave, because if you turn a 3-bed into a 2-bed and a 1-bed and a 1-bed, where is the air? Is one thing if maybe just you and your wife, but then when you have a growing family, it's different, because heat will finish those children, and Nigeria is in the tropical area, you know, of the world. So yeah, that goes without saying. So you have those kinds of situations. But anyway, we have Aditowun here. You know, she's ready for us, because this is I think we talked about this like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, where I was seeing online. I said this thing not to touch everybody, because even on the island, people are complaining about how their rent has gone from like maybe 8 million to like maybe 20 million, 30 million. And when you look at the houses, my sisters, it's nothing to write home about. The houses lack innovation. They are not fine. They are ugly. So you yourself, there's also the case of human beings, tenants who go ahead to renovate their apartments to fit maybe their own taste. The landlord sees them and say, "Oh no," they ask the landlord. These are the things. Can we renovate? The landlord says, go ahead. They have an agreement. You go ahead to renovate. And then a year after, 6 months after, he says, oh, I won't sell my property. Meanwhile, he has seen what you have done in that place. So he now wants to double the rent or triple the rent of that place to give somebody else. We've seen a lot of ladies who have come to destroy the apartment, say, I'm going to make sure that I've lost money, yes, but I will destroy this apartment and make sure that it is in the same state I met it. The landlords now come out and they're crying. Please, sir, what are you crying about? Because you're a thief. But yeah, let's Aditowun go ahead. Go ahead. Please.
Well, as funny as it looks, and the situation really, because at times you just try to take your mind off some things and just go into the mood of, okay, there's nothing else to say, just move on ahead with whatever it is you have. What actually caught my attention about this report is the last thing, I think what you said previously, that it's no longer about writing, it's now about sending WhatsApp messages. I actually had a seemingly example of that, of recent. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. And that shows us that most times when we come on here to talk about some of these situations that people are going through, we are not excluded from it because, of course, we are Nigerians. We live in Nigeria and we know what is actually going on. So it's not just about analysis now. It has to do with what you go through daily as a Nigerian, in Nigeria. And, the peculiar case of Lagos State, for me, it's a worrying concern because from what I've learned, there's a tenancy law, or should I say tenancy housing, act that is actually in Lagos State. And it's funny to me that we can't just say that people are not aware of their rights or what the government is doing. But the pathetic part of it is that who is going to defend who? You have a situation that is terrible. All you want is just to have a roof over your head. And somebody is saying, oh, go to Lagos State, read your rights, know your rights, then put them to court and all that. For how long? We already know what the judicial system is all about. I always single out Lagos State because at some point in time, they try to, get justice for, quite a lot of indigents when they have issues like that. So we could say their judiciary system is somehow not too slow as in other places. But then, can people even afford to take matters to court? Do they have access to lawyers? Yes, we know there are some provisions here and there, but how many people want to go through that kind of process when all they need is just a roof over their head and for the situation actually to be over? And it's always funny because even with the laws, you get a WhatsApp message. I actually got that from my landowner, or is it house owner now? And it's for me, I just felt, I read it twice, I read it again. I'm like, what is going on? There's no notice that been given previously. I'm just seeing this for the first time. And the thing is, oh, your rent has been increased from so to so. At some point, my head was just going around. I was like, okay, this is it. It looks as if I'm going to be homeless, because I just felt this is not sensitive enough. And then it's more like, oh, this is just like drawing a circle of poverty. Somebody is still trying to adjust with the terms of what is happening, living condition and all that. And then you are bringing an increment within how many months before the rent due. And you expect the person to pay it at the next rent due. So for me, I felt this was insensitive, it was wicked, and it was really a rash decision, for a place where you have lived for how many years. I felt bad. I was down at some point, I just had to summon courage in order to overcome that situation at that time. And, it's still ongoing. And for me, I felt that these are situations where the government are supposed to step in. Yes, there's a law, there's an act as revolving tenancy, rent, landlords and all that. This is where they should come to the yearnings of the people. Especially, I can make reference to Lagos State. Those in Lagos State, the rent is really outrageous. Yep. How do you move from 150 to 500,000? And as you said, even in some places, it's even worse. How do you move from 300 to 750? You even try to reason and say, okay, what happened? Are they renovating? Is there something new about the apartment? There's definitely no clear view of that. They just want to increase. Some have said, the costing of materials, this and that. For houses that have been built several years ago, and somebody is still claiming that, for materials. I'm like, what? This is not even a new house. And then there are instances that the agents, they want to extort people. They want to collect this fee, that fee from people. And I felt that this is absolutely wrong. Something urgent should be done about it. And that's why when I saw the report, I was like, this is really, really not right. And it shows insensitive part of those who own houses. There is no excuse to whatever it is, whether you have built it 10 years ago or you are just building it now. With what is going on in Nigeria currently, economic situation and everything, I learned of a story of a woman who earns 50,000 naira. And she's paying over 200 and something thousand as rent. How do you measure that with what you are earning? So it's really terrible. I can't say for other states, but for Lagos, for Ogun, at least most of the Southwest states, it's like as if it's a cycle now in most of the 36 states. This is what is going on. Not even talking about maybe the highbrow urban areas. Yes. It's like it's going round all over the 36 states. And this is where our lawmakers should come in. We don't even have a mortgage scheme mortgage. We don't have an housing scheme that is good for people, that is flexible compared to other places that we know. The slums that should have been upgraded is now the first thing the government thinks about is demolition, leaving people homeless, even though they are in informal settlements. What are we doing concerning housing scheme in Nigeria? We hear of, oh, this government is building 1,000 housing scheme. Is it affordable for people that need it? Or is just for some sets or some categories of those of them that can easily buy these things off? So I feel that going forward, our lawmakers should begin, if they don't have anything else to do, they should sit down and work on this housing scheme. Whatever it is that they need to do to ensure that there's mass affordable housing scheme for a lot of Nigerians, because this is actually going out of hand. And that was why I felt we need to take this. You've shared a bit about your experience. I'm sharing mine. There are a lot of people who are also going to talk about this, apart from what we are reading. So this is a reality of what we are facing currently when it comes to housing, not just in Lagos, but in most parts of Nigeria. And I feel that our lawmakers, they have a responsibility to come to the aid of as many people as possible. I'm not talking about the elites who can, in one day build one house or houses or own a whole estate. I'm talking about people who just want just a roof over their heads. Salaries are not being increased, businesses are not moving as they should, and people are paying a lot on house rent. We've not even talked about electricity, but people just want a place, even if it's one room, even if it is two room. They want a place where their families can at least be able to have safe comfort. And I feel that the government owes us this part of ensuring that they listen to the yearnings of the people. There are laws. Let's begin to implement them. They are not just supposed to be black and white and then be put somewhere. Let's begin to implement them. Whatever is, I remember the former governor of Lagos State, Governor Fashola, then I think he came up with the tenancy laws and all that, at that time. And I think we had something like this coming up then, where rents were going up, agency fee, commission fee, everything was just, skyrocketing. And he brought out that laws. What is going on? Is there no continuity? Because I feel that most of these policies or laws, we just leave them there until when things, go out of hand. We should begin to talk about the living conditions of Lagosians, the living conditions of Nigerians generally, wherever they find themselves. We can say fingers are not equal, but even the ones that are equal, are they comfortable? Do they have a roof over their heads? I can't imagine a family homeless, and nobody's doing anything. If I can't afford a lawyer, does that mean I have to be homeless? That is where the government comes in, to protect and to do their due diligence to ensure that at least every Nigerian, even if you are moving from one state to the other, you should be comfortable. There should be a roof over your head. We are not saying build mansions. We are saying housing schemes that is affordable for low earners, for middle earners. I think the government owes us that responsibility. I'm saying it because I'm really concerned, because I have actually also had to experience that. And a lot of people are going through that. So I feel that it is a responsibility. But our lawmakers, they shouldn't just sit down in their comfort zone. They should begin to implement laws that has to do with housing and come to the rescue of people, as well as the government. The government instead, the Lagos State Assembly and all other House of Assembly in the different states, they should begin to implement the housing laws or whatever hats they have, so that people can have a roof over their heads. I think if we can do that, we would be able to at least give a reasonable, consent to the plight of the people. If we can't achieve that, then why are we saying democracy is for the people? Why do we have a government? If we can't do these little things, they are basic amenities that the government should come to the rescue of the people for.
Adito, is like you said, they are basic amenities. What's the responsibility, the core responsibility of the government? It's not to protect lives and property of citizens. So if you're saying that, as a government, you are, removing your eyes, or you're not looking into that because you're feeling, oh, we have more important issues to deal with. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma. These are the lives of Nigerians we're talking about.
Yep.
Because at the end of the
Absolutely.
day, it's not like the fuel scarce. No, it's not like fuel scarce. The increase in fuel price is not like something is being done. It's not like there's any subsidy. It's not like there's any nothing on that one. the insecurity that is making the cost of food go up and the fuel price that is making the cost of food go up, it's not like anything has been done about it. Housing right now, well, yeah, now, if the laws are there, implement them. If we have, governing bodies that will be checkmating all of these things, why not put them into good use as of this moment? Because why exactly should I be paying that much for one small room that will probably have only one window? And the one window set, you probably see that one window, they divided it into two so that they can make room and parlor or something with just that one window. So what exactly are we doing to ourselves? And we need, it's one thing for us to say, okay, we're feeling the effect of, the governance in one aspect. But that don't help me. Housing, mbanu. Electricity is another thing. I was just reading yesterday, day before yesterday, that electricity tariff might likely increase. I'm like, you say, from where to where?
Like electricity that we don't have.
Okay, there's that one. Health, when the doctors decide to call off strike, that they said they were going to go on indefinite strike for their MOU that was not implemented. See, education right now is not ASU units that saying they want to go on strike because the agreement has not even been implemented.
Yep.
And these are people that signed MOU sometime end of last year. So what are we talking about? Insecurity that will not allow people to, okay, and I want to go and look for money. You are not telling me that I cannot go and look for money because if I go out, insecurity will go and hit me hard in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly, which sector of it is working? The only thing that is just working right now is 2027 election that is coming. And even that one said is kitty cat everywhere. Every political party they're not even concerned about making their manifesto strong. They're not concerned about making their party a concrete, formidable force. They're not even concerned about, okay, what has this present government done that we can do better as a people? What can we even leverage on? But instead, a lot of it is for their own interest. Make I just be governor. Now my turn. It don't reach my turn. Me if I don't serve, it don't reach my turn to be. Meanwhile, the people where they say don't reach your turn to serve, they don't see house take sleep. They never even see food chop finish. They never even drink water drop cup. They never even see better job to do. Hospital they cannot even reach. Electricity they cannot even have. Basic amenities. Their primary health care, the other day on her legs when we're talking about the government reeling out how many billions of naira to for rehabilitation of the primary health care centers and a lot of other things that has to do with our health system and all of that. And I'm like, now you're doing all of these ones. How are we sure that are you going? Okay. I dropped my case.
I mean, everything that's been said, you can hear the like. I know that this one was trying to control herself this morning because of the overwhelm that we feel. I think it's just so sad that in a country that is blessed with so many resources, so much resources, it feels like our hands are tied. It feels like we ourselves, we've reached our. I don't even want to call it breaking point. Like, where is help going to come from at this point in time? I was watching a podcast this week, and as I was watching, I was just like, yeah, because they were talking about every single thing and how nothing is working. And it's just so sad, from lights to transportation to food. I remember that last week, and my friends were dragging me that why are you posting? You're supposed to be on holiday? Why are you talking about Nigeria? I said because Nigeria is hitting me where I am too. Yesterday I saw that they said I think one egg is now 400 naira, and I'm like, that's how egg. I don't know where. That's what I saw it. And I was like, because different areas have. I don't think we have a unified.
No, there's no price control.
There's no price control. We don't have any for all our food. So I can be buying egg for 250 in my area, and somebody else is buying egg for 400 naira in their own area, based off of demand and based off of the fact that if you like, I don't care, you buy that egg like that. Does that mean that the eggs are so expensive? No, it's just that again we are doing ourselves, because all this rent, the government has its part to play in terms of Again,
Yeah.
price control for rent, price control for all these things. Because even when they came with the tax thing, some landlords were charging their tenants VAT for rent, which I'm like, everything is taxed. I was telling you yesterday in the office, Rose, that if you transfer money, so if I transfer money to you now, Rose, I want to transfer 10K to you 4 times. I'm going to be charged 50 naira each for each transaction. How many Nigerians do we have? Like, what's so? It's not even a case. Why am I being charged for sending money to somebody? Now, if you use any of these savings apps, which is supposed to be even devoid of all this interest, you don't touch them too, because if you use one of these savings apps and you have money in your savings, they are going to tax you for that. It's not the company that's taxing you; it's the government that's taxing you on your savings. Now, let's backtrack. Your salary is say 500,000 naira. The government already taxes you on that 500 naira, right? Then you remove maybe 200 naira to say, let me put this one for savings because I'm saving for my rent. That 200 naira you put every month there is being taxed. Now you go to the supermarket down the road, you want to buy a bottle of mineral, you want to buy sugar, anything. That sugar, you will pay tax on that sugar. So you're not like, hold on a minute, but I thought I paid tax on the 500K that I'm earning from the beginning. So regardless of what it is, so you're being taxed. Then from that 300K, no, let's even say the money has now remaining like 90K. You now want to send money to your parents because Momsi called and said she needs to buy drug. Doctor hired spending and wanting. You send Momsi 50K from that 90K. They are going to remove money from that 90K to give to Momsi. Yeah. Everything is taxed. Like it's almost, it has now become, I went to the cinema, we were taxed on the cinema money, but my salary is taxed, so, but I'm still going to pay tax on the money from the salary I got
that I want to use now to go and watch a movie.
Like, let me forget the problems of my life. I'm still being taxed on it. And you know, about this thing, but this thing, like, this is crazy.
It's one thing for you to see what your tax is doing for you, and it's another thing for you not to see anything. For me, if you get up from your house now to that cinema and you ply the road and it's good, there's no traffic. There is no conductor pushing here and there because they increase price with 100 naira today, tomorrow they are coming down. There is no all of that one. You just come out from your house, you take that keke, or you take korope, or you take bus to that cinema, and you see what do you call it, lights, street lights. You see good road. You see that at every point there's security, you are safe, you know, you can go about, do your business, come back, you're safe. You will come back, sleep in your house, there is light, there is gas. Do you understand? You don't have to carry gas container and go and be looking for gas outside. There's gas supply in your house. There is water. You can sleep with your 2 eyes closed and wake up. For me, even if they tax every 1 naira that comes in and they remove maybe 0.001 kobo inside that, for me, you will not complain. No. You will pay it. You will pay it.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
That money too. They tell you that, the drug I bought, say when I went to the pharmacy, they subsidized the drugs, you know, I got that also price. I went to the hospital, services were okay. I went to a federal hospital, everything was okay. There was light, doctors attended to me. There was no need for me to, you know, go anywhere else. Everything was just within there. For me, tell me your mind will not rest. You yourself, you will say, our government, this tax that I'm paying, no problem.
Sure.
Take it. But you pay tax, you cannot sleep and close your eyes. You pay tax, you can, even your money self that you're using to you.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And this usually comes from the fact that we don't have a sustained coordinated policy backed with actions. We just roll out policies and there's no action, it's not sustained. And then you wonder that you would have felt that people that come together as the committees on some of these policies, they are people that they have thought back and forth about it, and they are coming up with reasonable solutions to aid or to help the citizens of this country. But at the end of the day, you find out that in those policies, they are not just, it's not as if, it's not just that they are not sustained, but the actions are not there. They are not implemented. And then other people are forced to, cough out from the little that they are even earning.
Yes.
It's really pathetic. I saw one of the tenants in the story saying that it's not as if they don't desire to live in a comfortable home with their children, but how do they move from so amount of rent to so amount of rent? From how much?
Yeah.
And that was actually what I felt, when I also got my own WhatsApp message from my supposed house owner. I just felt what just came to my mind is, no, Adeton, you've been very optimistic. This time around, I hope you are not going to be homeless. That was just what came to my mind. Because I felt that if I'm going through this right now, I can count how many people that are going through the same thing. Very unreasonable actions. And they don't blink when they will tell you, pay or park. So that means that you're already thinking, how do I move my things to where? Where do I sleep? Everything was just going around in a circle. And I felt so terrible, to even say I'm a Nigerian. I felt so bad. And that is why we continue to talk about this, not because it's a live program we are discussing issues, but we are saying a responsible government should listen to the yearnings of its people. You are there for a reason. You should come to the yearnings of the people. That's what makes democracy, effective. That's what makes you as an administration, compassionate to yearnings of people. Without that, then what are we talking about? And everybody's running up and down for 2027 election. We will keep our fingers crossed and see how this pans out.
Yeah, let's take these messages. The time is 22. Our time is far gone. 23 minutes after 8. But let's take these messages. By the way, President has delivered the dividend of democracy, like he said, widen the tax net, reduce purchasing power, loan money consistently, and end up at inefficiency. He deliver, but no deliver. What a pathetic state of affairs we wallow in. Good morning, ladies. Thank you. Thank God it's Friday, although I'm saying that with mixed feelings in my heart on this housing issue. Now you see why we have shanties and makeshift houses in the nooks and crannies of Lagos, with the spate of homelessness that abounds in our country. If the government has refused to provide succor in the area of housing and basic amenities, what would the masses then do? What moral right does the government have to demolish houses without putting cushioning effects to alleviate homeless citizens? The so-called lawmakers and policymakers who should look into this are just mopping with arms akimbo instead of declaring an emergency on this salient issue. They feel sympathy by saying, hey, yeah, but lack empathy to fix the problems on ground. And here we are parabolating back to square one. What exactly is the moment of respite for the average Nigerian citizen? I just want to say they don't really care about the plight of masses. Period. Shame no they catch up on tricksters at all, because they fly out of this country to see what obtains there and refuse to replicate it here. Wallahi, it's a dog eats dog to survive society we live in. This is Oboli from Ikorodu. Next up, we have top of the morning to you. Let me use the medium to say kudos to Lagos State for the gigantic school building in Tolu in Ajegunle, all 34 in number with stadium. I think we need to commend Lagos State for this. On house rent in Lagos and Nigeria in general, you cannot control when demand is more than supply. Until the federal and state government all over Nigeria do the needful by building mass houses for Nigerians. For example, there's insecurity in some part of Nigeria, including my state, Kwara State. I know of some people who were brought there, who brought their parents into Lagos, and because of their wife who say they can't leave their parents, the option left is to get an apartment for these parents, and this is part of what causes house rate increase in Lagos. Our government, both state and federal, will do something past on insecurity so that more people will not leave their rural areas to come to urban areas. If this continues, house rent increase will continue because demand is more than supply. Thank you so much for your message, Additional Wasil. My condolences to the family of people who were killed by Boko Haram and other criminals. I'm saying this for so long. Why is our military and other security waiting for these criminals to bring the fight to them? Why are they always in defensive? Why can't they be on the offensive? Let us take the fights to them in their camp. We have drones and electronic means to get there, Okay, we get you. That's from Additional Wasio. Lastly, we have from Evangelist Shego Oyedeji. He says, Bagam, it is Friday. Fumi Rose Adeton. Gloom everywhere. Unserious, ruthless opposition, ranting only on excuses with a house in disarray. President is now hiding from social functions, yet they counter America saying all is well. Soldiers are now sacrificial lambs, including the brigadier general, and I wonder whether that rank was merited or honorary. Politicians on rampage with their senseless proteges protesting on what? A team fighting referee on the pitch instead of playing to win. Morality has died in Nigeria. No safe harbor in Nigeria anymore. Ladies, give me water to refresh. Take water, Evangelist Shego. He says, Rose for me. Sorry, I was carried away. I hope you got the roasted complete pigs dropped at your doorsteps for Easter. Wondering why there is no acknowledgement. Rose, did you see any pig from Evangelist Shego? Because I don't see pig. But I mean, we've come to the end of today's daily news review program for the week. We're going to hope against hope. That's all that we have. Hope, to be honest. Even though when it seems so bleak, it feels so. Yeah. Rose, you would like to conclude today's because I got nothing. I'm not gonna lie, I got nothing.
Yeah, well, that's it for today. Hopefully by Monday, we'll be here, God's willing, to take you through the headlines once again. Thank you so much, Adeton. Do want to have a great weekend ahead.
Thank you.
And, yeah, for each and every one of us, one of you who tuned in to listen to us this morning, please keep Nigeria at heart, keep praying for Nigeria, and like I'll say, it's all on us to demand for the change we need. So please, first of all, let's do right by ourselves, so that even when we demand for it, they will not turn hand and point fingers at us and say, "See you people that are looking, see what people are doing in here." So let us just do right for ourselves. All right, so that's it for myself and Olufumi J. But stay with us at 9 is the news. At 9:05, it's her lens. Good morning.
Good morning.
I can never say we could go back and be how we used to. But every time I think back